Somebody watching this video right now has been praying about one person, one name. You've whispered it in the middle of the night. You've written it in your journal. You've asked God 100 different ways, in 100 different prayers, is this the one? And some of you already know in your spirit, yes, this is real. This connection is not an accident. But here's what nobody's told you yet, and it's why I'm here today. Being made for each other is not the same as being ready for each other. You can be destined for someone and still not be positioned for them. You can have the right person show up at the wrong version of you, and God, in His mercy, will not release the fullness of that relationship into your hands until something happens first, inside you. Stay with me for the next 50 minutes, because I believe this message was written in eternity for this exact moment in your life. Before we go any further, if this is your first time here, welcome. I am so glad you found this channel. This is a place where we don't just talk about faith as a Sunday word. We talk about faith as a Monday morning, midnight tears, Tuesday afternoon anxiety attack, everyday kind of strength. If that's what you're looking for, do me a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications. Because what God is about to say to you today, He wants to keep saying to you every week. And when this video is over, I want you to leave a comment. Tell me where you are in your story. Tell me what part of this message touched something in you. And if there's something I can do better, a way I can serve you more, tell me that too. I read every single one. This channel grows because of you, and it gets better because of your honesty. Now let's go deeper. Made F-O-R-E-S-H Other I say promise, not a permission slip. Let's start here. God is not against love. God invented love. Before there was a wedding, before there was a ring, before there was a first date, there was a garden, and there was a God who looked at Adam and said, "It is not good for man to be alone." Companionship was God's idea before it was ever yours. So if you feel a pull towards someone, a peace, a knowing, a sense that your life and their life are supposed to be woven together, don't be ashamed of that. Don't let anyone shame you for wanting to be loved well. That desire in you is not selfish. It's sacred. But here is the tension we have to sit in today. A promise is not a green light. Just because something is destined does not mean it is due right now. Think about it in Scripture. Joseph had a dream about his future, but there were pits and prisons before there was a palace. David was anointed king as a teenager, but there were years of caves and running before there was a crown. The promise came early. The readiness came later. And the gap between the promise and the fulfillment of the promise is where God does His deepest work in a person. So if you're in the gap right now, if you know this person is significant, but the timing feels stuck, the walls feel high, the weight feels unbearable, I need you to hear me. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. DHE, thing, that needs, TO happen first. Healing. Here's the truth. Most people skip past because it's uncomfortable. You cannot build a whole future on a wounded foundation. If you go into this relationship, any relationship, carrying an unhealed version of yourself, you will not just bring your love into it. You will bring your fear into it. You will bring your father's absence into it. You will bring the betrayal from the last relationship into it. You will bring every rejection you've ever swallowed into it, and you will hand all of that pain to someone whose only crime was loving you. That's not fair to them. And honestly, it's not fair to you either. God is not trying to delay your happiness. He is trying to protect your future home from being built on cracked ground. Isaiah 61 says He came to bind up the brokenhearted, not to ignore the brokenness, not to rush past it, to bind it up, to bandage it, to close the wound, to bring it back to strength. That is a process. That takes time. And most of us want the miracle without the process. Let me ask you something honestly. Have you actually healed from what hurt you? Or have you just gotten good at not talking about it? Because there's a difference between moving on and moving forward. Moving on is when you bury the pain and pretend it's gone. Moving forward is when you let God dig it up, look at it honestly, grieve it fully, and then, and only then, plant something new in that same soil. If you skip the grieving, you will project the old story onto the new person. You'll accuse them of things they never did. You'll test them for wounds someone else gave you. You'll flinch at love because the last time someone got close, they hurt you. And that person, the one you believe you're made for, will spend years trying to prove they're not your past, instead of simply being loved for who they are in your present. So before anything else happens in this relationship, this has to happen first. Let God heal what's broken. Not hide it, not manage it, heal it. Crest during THE hard season. I know some of you are in a hard season right now. Maybe this relationship feels far away. Maybe there's distance or silence or a door that hasn't opened yet or a heart, yours or theirs, that isn't ready. And in that silence, your mind starts writing stories. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I misheard God. Maybe I'm not enough. Can I tell you something about hard seasons? They are not evidence that God has abandoned the plan. They are the greenhouse where the plan grows roots. Nothing of real strength grows in constant sunshine. Ask any farmer. The root system that can survive a storm is built during the season before the storm, underground, in the dark, where no one's clapping for you, where no one's watching, where it looks like nothing is happening at all. That's where you are. And I need you to trust that God is not wasting this waiting. Jeremiah 29:11 gets quoted so often it almost loses its weight, but read the verse before it. God told his people they'd be in Babylon for 70 years. 70 years of a hard season before the promise of a future and a hope. He didn't say, I'll rescue you tomorrow. He said, build houses, plant gardens, live your life while you wait for me to move. Trust in that verse wasn't passive. It was active obedience in the middle of an unresolved story. So if you're waiting on this relationship or waiting on God to heal it, restore it, open it, or clarify it, stop putting your whole life on pause. Build your house, plant your garden, keep growing in the wait. Because the version of you that walks into that fulfilled promise needs to be someone who didn't just survive the waiting, someone who was transformed by it. Overcoming fear. Let's talk about fear. Because fear will lie to you louder than almost anything else in a relationship season. Fear says, if you love them fully, they'll leave. Fear says, if you show them the real you, they'll be disappointed. Fear says, protect yourself first, love them second. But love and self-protection cannot both sit on the throne of your heart. One of them has to move. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Notice what's on that list opposite fear: power, love, and a sound mind. Fear tries to convince you those three things are unavailable to you. They are not. They are already yours. You just have to choose them over the fear, moment by moment, sometimes minute by minute. Here's a practical truth. Fear cannot be reasoned away. It has to be replaced. You don't out-argue fear. You out-worship it. Every time fear whispers a worst-case scenario, answer it out loud with truth. Not a vague hope. Actual truth. God has not brought me this far to abandon me here. The one who started this good work is faithful to finish it. Speak it until your spirit believes it louder than your fear does. Overcoming Rejkian. If you've been rejected before, by a person, by a parent, by someone who was supposed to choose you and didn't, that wound doesn't just disappear when a new, safer person comes along. It has to be addressed, or it will speak on your behalf without your permission. Rejection teaches you a lie, that your worth is decided by whoever walks away. But your worth was never decided by them. It was decided before the foundation of the world, by a God who knew your name before. He knit you together in your mother's womb. Psalm 139 says that. Not you will be fearfully and wonderfully made once someone loves you correctly. You already are, right now, rejected or not. So when this person or any person hesitates or takes time or isn't available in the exact way you want, resist the urge to let that moment define your identity. Their timing is not a verdict on your value. Let God be the one who settles what you're worth, and let people simply be people, doing their imperfect best at loving you. Overcoming anxiety around this relationship might sound like overthinking every text message, rehearsing conversations that haven't even happened yet, trying to control an outcome that was never yours to control in the first place. Philippians 4:6-7 doesn't say don't feel anything. It says in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. That word everything includes the anxious 2 a.m. thoughts. It includes the what if this falls apart spiral. God isn't asking you to fake peace. He's inviting you to exchange your grip for his. Here's a practical picture. Anxiety is you trying to hold something with a closed fist, white-knuckled, exhausted. Surrender is opening your hand and letting God hold it instead. Your fist gets tired. His hands never do. Overcoming, some of you are not walking into this relationship whole. You're walking in still bleeding from the last one. And I want to say something that might not be popular. You are allowed to grieve. You don't have to rush your healing to prove you're spiritual. But grief has a purpose. It's meant to move you, not house you. There's a difference between sitting in the ashes for a season, the way Job did, and building a permanent home in them. Ecclesiastes says there's a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Both are holy. Neither is meant to be permanent. If your heart is broken, let this season heal it honestly. Talk to God like he can handle your anger, your confusion, your why did this happen to me? He can. He's not intimidated by your grief. But don't let heartbreak become your identity. It's a chapter. It is not the whole book. Overcoming doubt will ask you over and over, are you sure this is even from God? Or did you just want it to be? And that question is not always your enemy. Sometimes it's an invitation to examine your own heart, honestly. But there's a difference between godly discernment and tormenting doubt. Discernment asks a question once, brings it to God, and moves forward in peace. Tormenting doubt asks the same question every single day, never settles, never rests, and steals your joy in the meantime. James 1 talks about the person who doubts being like a wave tossed by the wind, not because doubting once makes you unstable, but because living in a constant state of doubt keeps you from ever standing on solid ground. Bring your real questions to God honestly. Then let him answer, and let yourself receive the answer, instead of asking the same question forever because you're afraid of what settling into peace might cost you. Welking which confidence, vrushfeich confidence, real confidence, was never meant to come from certainty about the outcome. It comes from certainty about who's holding the outcome. You don't need to know exactly how this relationship unfolds. You don't need a guarantee. You need to know the character of the one writing the story. And if you know his character, that he is good, that he is faithful, that he does not withhold good things from those who walk uprightly, then you can walk into an uncertain season with an unshakable posture. That's the difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance says, I know how this ends. Confidence says, I don't know how this ends, but I know who I'm walking with, and that's enough for me to keep walking without collapsing in fear. Walk like a person who has already been told the ending is good, even if you can't see the middle chapters yet. Personal responsibility, which Geodis Gudance. Here's something I have to say plainly. Faith is not a substitute for maturity. You can pray for a healthy relationship all day long, but if you're not willing to do your own inner work, going to counseling if you need it, having hard conversations instead of avoiding them, working on your communication, your patience, your self-control, then you're asking God to bless a house you haven't finished building. Grace does not mean passivity. Grace empowers responsibility. It doesn't replace it. Philippians 2:1-2, 1:3 says, work out your own salvation because it is God who works in you. Both things are true at once. He's working and you're working. Faith and action are supposed to hold hands, not compete with each other. So ask yourself honestly, what is my part in this? Am I becoming the kind of person capable of sustaining the love I'm asking God for? Because readiness isn't just about the other person changing or the timing lining up. Some of it is you doing the unglamorous, daily, unseen work of becoming whole. Finding strength HN Elrickness if you feel too weak for this, too anxious, too wounded, too far behind where you think you should be. I want you to hear the words Paul heard when he asked God to remove his weakness 3 times. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. That means your weakness is not disqualifying. It is actually the exact place where God's power shows up the loudest. He is not waiting for you to become strong enough to deserve this. He is inviting you to be weak enough to need him for it, and let his strength carry what yours cannot. So bring him your anxious heart. Bring him your trust issues. Bring him your fear of being left again. Don't hide your weakness from him and pretend you're stronger than you are. He already knows. And he is not asking you to fix yourself before you come to him. He is asking you to come to him so he can do the fixing. Hat needs TO happen first. Peting IT all tother. So let's bring this all the way home. You and this person may absolutely be made for each other. That connection may be real, God ordained, written before either of you were born. But before it can be fully released, here's what needs to happen first. Your healing needs to happen first. Not hidden, not managed, actually healed. Your identity needs to be settled in God first, not in whether they choose you. Your fear needs to be replaced with truth, spoken daily until it outweighs the lie. Your doubt needs to be brought to God honestly and then released, not carried forever. Your own responsibility needs to be taken seriously. Your growth, your healing, your maturity. Your confidence needs to shift from the outcome to the one who holds the outcome. And your weakness needs to become the place where you learn to depend on him completely. This is not about becoming perfect before love finds you. It's about becoming honest, becoming whole, becoming someone who can receive the love God has for you without leaking it out through old wounds. If everything in you is aching for this person, for this future, for this promise to finally come to pass, let that ache turn you toward God instead of toward panic. Let it turn you toward healing instead of toward rushing. Let it turn you toward trust instead of toward control. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not disqualified. You are in process, and God is not done writing this story. Before you go, pray this with me if you want to. God, I trust you with this person, with this timing, with this promise. Heal what's broken in me. Settle what's unsettled in me. Teach me to walk in confidence, not because I know the outcome, but because I know you. Let my weakness become the place where your strength shows up. I surrender the timeline. I surrender the fear. I trust you with what's made for me. Amen. If this spoke to you, don't let it end here. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss what's coming next, and leave a comment below. Tell me your story. Tell me where you're standing in faith right now, and tell me how I can serve you better with the next message. Your honesty helps me build something that actually meets you where you are. Until next time, stay rooted, stay ready, and trust the one who is writing your story.